What's up everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where today we are going to go through the 12 costs of buying a property in Australia. Yes, all 12. Now you may have heard of a few of these, but it's really important to understand each and every one of them because the cost of buying a property is expensive in Australia and you don't want to be left holding the bag right before the settlement date. So let's start. The first and the easiest one is obviously you have to pay the price for the property. Now the quirk with the price is if you bought a house for 300 grand, 500 grand, 700 grand, $7 million, it doesn't matter. You have to pay the price of the property in two parts. Generally, there's a deposit that happens straight away when you sign your contract. And the second one is on the day of settlement, you have to pay the rest. And the rough scenario is I go out and I successfully buy a property for $1 million and I pay 10% on the day. And then 60 days later, I have to pay the other 900,000. So obviously the simplest one you have to remember is you have to pay the price of the property. Now we get on to the fun stuff. The second item that is the biggest cost is generally stamp duty. Stamp duty is a cost paid to the government to help transfer the property into your name. Stamp duty ranges between 2 to 6% in Australia, depending on the state, and can catch a lot of people out because it is a big figure. So it's important to understand the cost of stamp duty when you're buying a property, or speak to someone because there are grants and incentives and all this kind of stuff that can help lower that depending on your price point. But it is a big cost that has to be factored in. Number 3, now included in stamp duty, or sometimes excluded, is a thing called land transfer fees. And that is again a little government fee to help move the property into your name. Sometimes you can see stamp duty and land transfer bundled together and it's just government fees, but we like to split them up so clients know exactly the two different items. And that can range, again, it's scaled against your property. It ranges between $200-$300. It can scale all the way up to $5,000-$10,000 depending on the price. But it's important to understand you have stamp duty, which is number 2, and then you have land transfer on top. The fourth fee that we always talk about is bank fees. Now, generally in Australia, if you're buying a property, most people will need to go get a loan. And there are 40, 50, 60 banks plus in Australia, and each of them have different fees and charges associated with that loan. From a very simple annual fee to a transaction account fee, all the way to risk fees, capitalized interest fees, and all these quirky items. But your bank fee is generally payable on the day of settlement, so you have to account for it in your cash. Number 5 is mortgage registration. Mortgage registration is usually $300 in Victoria and can scale up against other states. And it's a small fee to stamp and register the mortgage as yours. Now you might think of these items as, gosh, why am I paying this? But one of the biggest reasons why property in Australia is so attractive is because it is so secure. When you pay your stamp duty, your land transfer fees, and your mortgage registration fees, what happens is the property is perfectly transferred into your name. It's secured. You can look it up. It's very hard to steal. It's very hard to fake. So you feel very confident that your money is secure. The asset is yours. And in the future, if you have to pass it down to family or you want to keep it as a wealth generation play, it stays known to you. Number 6, after mortgage registration fees, is legal fees. Now, there are 2 types of legal fees and we'll split them up. There is bank legal fees, which is number 6. And that is for a bank to prepare loan contracts. Your loan contracts are prepared by a bank to enable them to hand money over to you. And there's sometimes fees and charges depending on the type of bank. Now, if you go to a big bank in Australia, so your Commonwealth Bank, your ANZs, your NABs, your Westpacs, your Bank of Melbourne's, generally there are no legal fees. But some of the smaller banks that actually outsource their legal department will pass on a few costs. As an example, Macquarie Bank have a cost of $350. Nothing drastic, but again, it's money out the door. The second type of legal fee is actually to protect you. And this is when you use a conveyancer or a solicitor to help you review contracts along the journey. Now, a conveyancer and solicitor is absolutely paramount. It's their job to help manage the settlement. It's their job to help protect you and review the contract. And it's their job to ensure the property securely transfers into your name. A conveyancer costs can sit between $800 to $1,300 in Australia, and a solicitor can cost a little bit more on top. Now, why would you choose a conveyancer over a solicitor? That depends obviously on how much cash and price point you have, or the complexity of the property you are buying. If you are buying a multi-unit property or a development site or a heritage property or any complex scenario, especially things like off-the-plan properties, we always suggest a solicitor reviewing the contract in detail is imperative. Otherwise, number 7 on the list is that conveyancer fee. Number 8, we're getting through them. We're nearly there. Stay till the end because there's some quirky stuff at the end. Number 8 is a building and pest inspection. Now, properties in Australia obviously come in varying shapes and sizes. Some are brand new, some are hundreds of years old. We suggest getting a building and pest inspection done on each property you're thinking of buying. It gives you comfort that a true inspector has looked at all items, and generally you get a report that says these are the major faults, minor faults, some remedy items. It can really help you understand what you're buying, especially because it's so hard to know what you're buying sometimes. Now, if it's a new property, maybe not worth it, but in the rest of the cases, paying close to $600, $800, maybe $1,000 to get that reviewed, when you're paying maybe $700,000, $800,000 for a property, is a small fee for the peace of mind and surety of knowing what you are buying. Number 9. Number 9 is probably the most hated fee out there. Lender's mortgage insurance. Lender's mortgage insurance is a fee charged by the bank to help protect them, not you, if you ever not pay your loan. Now, lender's mortgage insurance scales up, very similar to stamp duty and other elements in the buying property game, based on the risk you are putting towards the property. If you have a small deposit, your lender's mortgage insurance is high. If you have a large deposit, you generally won't have any lender's mortgage insurance. And we'll have more episodes on this later on. But lender's mortgage insurance has to be factored into your borrowing capacity and your cash contribution, but generally can be worked through a bank and funded or paid for by the loan. But it is a fee. The last 3 are very, very simplistic ones. They don't cost a lot, but it is important. Number 10 on the list is settlement adjustment fees. If you are buying a property in Australia and you're buying it off me, I may have paid some fees in advance. I might have paid my council rates for 3 years. I might pay my body corporate for 3 years. I might pay my rates and water for 2 years. And if I've paid things in advance, you, when you're buying off me, have to pay me back. And sometimes it happens in reverse. Sometimes the settlement adjustment fees for rates, water, connection are opposite. Maybe I actually haven't paid it. I haven't paid my bills because I know I'm selling the property. I then owe you money. But this is where a conveyancer comes in. They help you understand all these costs. The settlement adjustment fees are really important. Number 11 is a very, very simple one. It's just your connection and setup costs, we call it. If you're living in the property, you will have maybe cost to move. You might have internet connection. You might have to set up a few things. There might be some maintenance that needs to be done. It's important to have a small buffer to set that up. If you're buying an investment property, you might have an agent take care of that as a rental. So there might be marketing fees, letting fees, staging fees. It's all included in this bulk item that we call moving and connection costs. And the last one, number 12. Buying a property in Australia is a minefield. Every property is different. Every real estate agent has a different sales tactic. There's not much guidance on the value of a property. One of the biggest ones we suggest thinking about is a qualified, trusted, well-known buyer's agent. And we'll talk about that a bit more, but a buyer's agent helps sit on your side of the table when you're looking to buy a property. But they are expensive. So their fees can range from $5,000 to upwards of $10,000 to $50,000. But these are fees that can be included when you're buying a property. Number 12 is not a real one. It's one that you can choose. But the rest of these fees, so I'm going to do a quick summary. Going to pay for the price of the property, number 1. Number 2, stamp duty. Number 3, land transfer. Number 4, bank fees. Number 5, mortgage registration fees. Number 6, legal fees. Number 7, conveyance or solicitor fees, which are yours. Number 8, building and pest. Number 9, lender's mortgage insurance. Number 10, settlement adjustments. Number 11, moving and connection costs. And number 12, a buyer's agent. The best way to save and protect yourself is talk to someone about all the fees specific to your property, because it changes. This, we hope, helps you feel more comfortable in how much money will leave your account on the day of settlement, because you don't want to be left with having to beg, borrow and steal to get your property over the line. So we hope this has really helped. If you had any comments, if you feel like I've missed something or you want to learn something more, please hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and we will try and answer as many questions as we can. Amazing. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye.